Good morning, good morning, good morning. I was sitting here for a moment waiting for it to go live, and I realized I hadn't hit the go live button yet. So it's amazing what hitting that button will do to help you go live. Again, good morning, or good afternoon, or good day, or good whatever from wherever you are in this big, beautiful, and messy world we live in. I am Carol C.C. Miller, your positive life strategist, peace activator, and global hugger, coming to you with another episode of Embrace Your Life Chat, where the intention is to heighten celebrations and lessen sorrows through a positive focus. So let me know in comments where you're joining me from. I am in Chicago. It is a beautiful spring day. And I'd love to know where you're joining me from. And I would also love to know if you are new to Positive Focus and my work, so I can welcome you into this global community that we have here. One of my favorite things about going live is being able to see people from all over the world who are looking for the same things. They're looking to have their celebrations heightened and looking to have their sorrows lessened. We have different backgrounds, we have different ideologies and everything, but at the end of the day, the majority of us want similar things. Safe place to live, being healthy, being connected, and having meaningful work that we do, and feeling connected to others. So that's the work that I love to do. So let me know where you're joining me from. And before I get started on today's topic, I do like to go over a couple of house cleaning things, especially if you're new to my work. And one is I'm not an absolutist. I'm not a big fan of the words always, never, right, wrong, or good or bad. There's 7 billion people on this planet. I can't begin to say what is always right for 7 billion people or what is never right for 7 billion people. So I work on the majority of the time. The majority being zero is always negative, 100 is always positive. And I don't know any bit zero, and I don't know any bit 100. No, people are closer to zero, and I know people are closer to the 100. But again, for me, it's not an always or never situation. We live in the and kind of area of it. It's this and that. The world is beautiful and it's messy. Things are going well in your life, and there are challenges in your life as well. So that's what we like to focus on here, or I like to focus on. My personal work is to be in the 80 to 100% of the time positive, loving, kind, compassionate, and peaceful. Those are my top values to live with. So 80 to 100% of the time, I am that because I've made that my daily practice for a very long time. But that does not mean I am 100% any of those, which I am not. Fear visits me, frustration visits me, anger, disappointment, sadness, grief, unworthiness, all of those things that are normal feelings that we have visit me. And yet, because of my daily practices, they visit, they don't move in. So it's about feeling what you need to feel and then move forward from there. Secondly, I'm a coach. I love supporting people in living what their best meaningful life looks like. I am not a counselor, nor am I a therapist. And sometimes to live that best life for you, it's good to have that type of support, whether it's counseling, therapy, getting a coach, whatever it is. I encourage you to do what is best for you to live your best life. And best lives look different day to day. When you feeling your best, then it's an easier day to be at your best. When you're having a cold or feeling sick or you didn't sleep well that night, then your best might not be the same as your best on a good day. And that is okay as well. So I'm going to jump into comments. I do not see a lot, so I don't know if I'm even live with everybody. But hello, I'm hoping I'm saying your name right, Lavjit. Let me know where you're joining from. I would love to know. So in comments, again, let me know where you're joining me from. In today's topic, we're going to talk about stepping forward into what kind of life you want to live. So if you're new, what I do is I pick a word, come up with an affirmation, and then tips around that word to allow it to be incorporated into your daily practices, if you so choose to do so. Hello, Dia I know you're from Florida, so welcome. And so today's word again is step. The definition of step is an action preceding or measure often occurring as one is in a series. An action preceding or measure often occurring as one in a series. So we're taking steps towards something. Sometimes we take steps backwards as well. So it's about what kind of steps are you taking today to live in your life, in your community, in your family, in your friendships, in your world, to live what is the most meaningful and delightful and joyful life you can live. Again, remember, for me, we're working on the majority of the time. So even if your life has a lot of meaning and you're enjoying it and it's going well, my guess is there's still moments of fear or sadness or disappointment or anger. So it's about the majority of the time being in that space of how you want to live, how you want to feel. So keep that in mind. So again, step is an action preceding or measure often occurring as one in a series. And I promise you, when we're taking steps forward to what we want, when fear gets our attention, which it will, it's trying to hold you back from those steps. It's wanting to show you everything that could go wrong as you try to move forward. So it's not about beating yourself up when you feel like you're being pulled back or afraid to move forward. It's about taking those small, conscious, aware, inspired actions to move forward to what you do want in your life, rather than giving your time, energy, and focus to what you don't want in your life. It's not about pretending they're not there, because they want to be heard, acknowledged, and seen as well. But it's about where you're going to give the majority of your time, energy, and attention to. So step is it. The affirmation for today, and if affirmation is simply a statement. I think a lot of people think when they hear the word affirmation that it's a positive affirmation, which is what we work with. But if you affirm what you don't like about yourself, or you affirm what you don't like about the world, it's still an affirmation. You are affirming the don't like rather than affirming the like. And the more that you're aware of your thoughts, the more you're aware of your words and actions that you take, the more you're able to adjust as needed. Or maybe you're in a place right now that you need to feel that anger. You need to feel that disappointment. It's not about stuffing it and pretending it doesn't exist, but it is about how you can feel what you need to feel to move forward, to feel a little bit better. So today's affirmation is, I continue to step into living a meaningful life. So I would love to know, first of all, if that's an affirmation that you think you could work with, or if right now you're not in that headspace to do that. It might be, I'm in the process of stepping into living a meaningful life, or I continue to step into worthiness. I continue to realize I deserve to live the best life possible. I am living the best life possible. So the affirmation is something that you want to believe, or it could be a step from where you are right now. But if you immediately say, I continue to step into living a meaningful life, and you know, like it's an immediate no, I don't, then it's a positive statement, but it's not positive for you. So you're going to want to rework it into something that is positive and believable for you, because you don't want to immediately negate it. The point behind affirmations, and I encourage you to say them often, write them down, put them on sticky notes, is that you're replacing those negative thoughts that are unconscious in the back of your head that you've been using. Like, you pull those up anytime that unworthiness shows up. You pull up all the reasons you feel unworthy. When you're angry, you pull up all the reasons of your past of anger. So it's about replacing it into being a little bit more gentle with yourself and a little kinder to yourself as well. So the tips for today on what living your best life is. Hello. Oh, I'm not going to try to say your name from South Africa, because I promise you I would mess it up. But welcome, South Africa, and Ricky and Kathy. Hello. Good to have you here. I am in the process of. That's excellent. Because it really is, again, you want to make it be believable to yourself. If you're immediately negating it, it's not going to help. I would love to go back home. Life is, for me, is crap. I'm traveling very far on Sunday. Do you see me leaving this awful place? Zelda, I am not a psychic medium type thing, so I don't know. I do know that you deserve to feel better and to feel connected and loving in the space you're at. And I will come back into comments after I talk about today's discussion. So Zelda, if you have more questions after we talk about today's topic, please put them in there. And also, if you have questions on something you would like me to cover, I'm here Tuesdays and Thursdays, usually at 11:30. Today I knew I had an earlier commitment, 11:30 Chicago time. So if there's something that you would like me to bring a little bit more love, kindness, peace, and compassion to, put those in comments and we'll go back to that. But again, today's topic is steps, stepping into living your best life. So my first step is to write down a list of everything you want to experience, from things that might already be on your calendar that you're going to be experiencing, from things that you're pretty sure you can experience, from things that you would love to experience, but you can't possibly imagine them ever coming true. Put those kinds of things on your list. And then I want you to spend some time with it. Like it may not even be a one-time sitting, but if you know some things right now that you would like to experience that you already know is in there, put those in comments so we can discuss that as well. But I want that list to be pretty long if you can. And then after you've written it down, and this is a living list, so it's going to shift and change. So it's not going to ever be complete. But after you feel like you've gotten through a good list of what you would like to experience, some people like to call it things you have goals to do. I prefer to put that list down. And once you feel like you've gotten a good handle on that list, then I want you to go through it and pick out 2 or 3 of them. I would do 1 or 2 that are simple that you know you're going to experience. It's not even a choice that has to be made. And pick out something that either is a little scary, like you still want it, but you don't know how, or you know it's going to take time to get there. Because often we have this big, grandiose dream of something we want to do, and yet we get stuck in that high vision of it and get too scared to do the steps on the path to get there. So it's about breaking it down into little steps moving forward. So make that list of what you want to experience in your entire lifetime, from an hour from now to 30, 40, 50, 60 years from now, depending on how long you plan to be on this planet. And then pick a couple of them. I would like it to be a couple that are easy, that the steps towards getting those achieved aren't scary. And then maybe one that's a little bit more like, I really want to do this, but I don't see how it's going to happen. And that one we're going to give less attention to, because fear comes up more for that one than the ones that we're excited about. So when you're excited about something, it's easier to take those steps forward. And it's about inspired steps, inspired action. All of us can take a bunch of action all day long. And if we're feeling fear from it, then it's not stopping our progression, but it is slowing our progression down. So the more you could be excited and inspired and you're really wanting it to happen, the easier it is to move forward in a positive, gentle, kind state of mind. Next is, I want you to look at the couple, and you could do this for your entire list actually too, but the few that you've chosen, I want you to look at those 2 or 3 that you've chosen and ask yourself, why is this important to you? What is it going to bring you? Is it going to bring you happiness, joy? Is it going to bring you new people in your life? Is it going to bring you the work that you want to do? What is it going to bring you? When you know your why, then you're able to step back into that why when challenges come up on you stepping forward into what you want. And I know I've shared this many times before, but especially if you're new, I started Positive Focus like 12 years ago now. I don't know, 10, 11, 12 years ago now. And when I first when I first started it, my intention was for it to be as big as the Red Cross, like a nonprofit all over the world helping people as big as the Red Cross. It's not that. It's not that at all. And as I took steps into growing what I wanted to do, which was to help people feel seen, heard, know they matter, challenges came up for sure. Things haven't worked out the way I thought they would, although they've actually worked out better. I did not want to run a big nonprofit. I want to be involved in the work that I do. So if it had gotten so big where I had tons of employees and all that kind of stuff, I would have been out of the actual work that I like to do. So when I came up with these challenges, I kept focusing on my why rather than the big picture of a big nonprofit, which again, I'm not a big nonprofit. So it's about knowing the why behind it to be able to keep moving you forward. My why was to help people feel seen and heard, because I'm a firm believer when people feel seen and heard, they're less likely to harm themselves or others. So that was an important why for me. My why is to heighten celebrations and to lessen sorrows. My why is to show that being positive is not a 100% rainbows and puppy dogs kind of life. It would be nice if it was, but it's about bringing the kindness, the gentleness, the compassion to our challenges to be able to step further into having that positive, meaningful life that we want to live. So know your why, write it down. And maybe if you're looking at your entire list, you're going to see something that you thought was important to you, but when you look at the why, maybe it's not as important. Maybe you're going to notice the why is for external. It'll make my mom happy. It'll make my dad happy. It'll make my partner happy. It'll make my boss happy. So make sure that your why is what is internally for you rather than what society, your family, your friends think should be important to you. That's when you're going to know that it's going to be easier to stay inspired when it's something that's coming from within rather than externally where you're trying to please people. And when you're there's nothing wrong with pleasing people. I tend to be a people pleaser, but it's how much time, energy, and attention are you going to give to it? Is it a healthy pleasing people, or are you unhealthy pleasing people to feel loved? That was kind of a side note there. That wasn't part of my actual conversation for today. But so know your why is the next thing. And then the third thing is to start taking a small inspired action once you get that list done. If you know something today, I would love to know a small step you can do. One of my bucket list things, I love my bucket list. I don't honestly look at it that often, but I do change it out from time to time. I change it out when I've gotten something accomplished. I change it out when it's like, oh, this isn't important to me anymore. So I take it off the list because it's, we are always evolving. So things change. Still on my list is to see the Northern Lights. So today I could take an action by looking up places that I could go see it. I can look at what time of year is the best time of year to go see experience the Northern Lights. So your action step for today or after you've written your list could be something as doing some research on it to figure out what's the best next step to take. Then the next thing is to find a mentor. Find somebody, and it doesn't have to be somebody that you necessarily speak to and like hire as a coach. Could be, that's awesome. I love coaching, so you could certainly hire me about that. But find somebody who is doing what you want to do. Maybe it's a particular job that you want to have. Look out and find somebody who is doing that. Do some research, read a book about them, and see what kept them inspired to move forward to living their best life. So it can be a physical mentor that you talk to or interview to find out more about, but it can simply be somebody. One of my mentors is Brian Stevenson. I've never met him. He is on my bucket list to meet, but I watch as many interviews of his work. I read his book. I watched his movie. I watched documentaries about him. So I do as much research I can about the people that inspire me. Fred Rogers, who has been deceased for many years, he is somebody that inspires me. I do my research to find out more about how I can be more like them in the work that I do. So find a mentor and then look at the big picture again and break it down into actionable items, inspired actionable items. Those big picture things that might be scary to you and you don't see how they can happen, then I encourage you to spend less time looking at them. But again, look at the big picture, feel how it's going to feel to be there, but don't let it get so overwhelming that you forget that there are small incremental steps. And one of those steps to get there is to affirm that you deserve to get there. Affirm that you deserve to have that experience in your life. Again, the affirmation today is I continue to step into living a meaningful life. I mentioned this Tuesday. I think I'm going to start mentioning it even more. For me, a great way to affirm things is to say, I am worthy of whatever it is on your list. I am deserving of whatever it is on your list. I am whatever that is on your list. So I am worthy of seeing the Northern Lights. I am deserving of seeing the Northern Lights. I am seeing the Northern Lights. So practice that, because a lot of times we hold ourselves back, and it might even be unconscious, which is why affirmations are good, that you honestly don't feel you deserve to have that job. You deserve to live in that place. You deserve to see the northern lights or whatever it is that will make your life meaningful. There's something unconscious most often that we don't feel we deserve it. So affirm that you deserve, that you're worthy, and that you are living it. And remember, things are going to shift. So when setbacks come, that say, what is the saying? 5 steps forward, 3 steps back, or something like that. Instead of beating yourself up over for the challenges that occur in our life, because they do, see it as a way to look from a different vantage point. See it from, like, maybe you've taken 5 steps in the right direction, so to say, and something happens that direction isn't going to work anymore. It doesn't mean you're not working anymore. It just means to shift and see it from a different perspective, see a different way. Sometimes we're so focused on the outcome and that the outcome has to look exactly like this, that we are missing easier ways to get to the outcome that might look a little different, but still in our heart feels the same. It has a meaning to us. We're connected to people. We're making an impact on the world, and we're living a life of making memories and joyful experiences. So allow yourself to feel the setbacks. Again, I don't want you to pretend everything is rosy and perfect, when I don't know of many people who don't have some sort of challenge in their life. But it's about being gentle and kind with yourself, looking at it as, okay, this isn't working. This doesn't feel good. Even if I'm going towards my dream, I promise you, especially early on with positive focus, there was a lot of this doesn't feel good. I did not feel worthy of creating what I wanted to create. I felt like I needed a bunch more people to do it, and I went back to my why. I wanted to quit many, many times, and I went back to my why. So it's about being okay where you are and knowing that it can shift. Positive focus is a completely different look today than the vision I had for it at the beginning, but my why is still intact. My why is still the reason I do it. Positive focus is a volunteer project of mine. I personally get paid on my coaching and consulting, but the Hugs project and everything I do here, it's Positive Focus is a volunteer nonprofit. We do not have a lot of overhead. We do have some, so I still appreciate the donations and things, but it's not like the big nonprofit that I had foresaw it to be when I first began. Again, so you've had a setback, revisit your why. Keep your why in mind. When your why loses power, then maybe it's time to look for a new thing that you want to experience. If the why is still strong, you may shift and change things, and that's okay as well. But it's the why that's going to keep you moving forward inspired. It's the why that's going to help you on those days that you don't know what the next step is. But it's really about focusing on the next best step. There's going to be bunches of steps along the way. Your job is just to focus on, okay, here I am today. I know I want to be over here. And maybe your experience, is going to take a year. Maybe your experience is a week from now. Maybe your experience is, oh my gosh, I really want to do this, but I can't imagine it happening ever in my lifetime. What can you do today to move one step closer to that goal, that experience that you want to have? Keeping in mind, you're affirming it. You have the universe helping you with it. You're just staying in that state of mind that's going to help move you forward. You're doing action steps that feel good for you to do to move forward in. And lastly, be gentle with yourself. That's why I call this, it's a beautiful and messy world. Your lives are probably the same. There's a lot of beauty in it. There's probably some mess too. So be gentle with yourself as you continue to focus on where you're at right now and where you want to go to live that meaningful, beautiful, and probably still messy life that you're choosing to live. So now I'm going to come into comments and see if there's any questions or some ideas for a future career. Zelda, that's what you're working on. So Zelda, I would encourage you for your career, and maybe you know this and you just shared the word career, but what do you want out of your career? Some people like to work by themselves. Some people like to work in a team. Some people want to own their own business. Some people want to work for a small company. Some people want to work for a large organization. So how do you want to feel? Do you want to feel part of a team? Do you want to have your work individualized and you're still, the collective whole is working, but know what it is that's going to fill your heart and fill your feelings up with knowing that you're doing meaningful work for you. So I'd encourage you to know that. You need to shift. Wow, I do not know what that is. I'm sorry. Why is powerful for me. And Kathy, why is so powerful. And it's good to even think about for when you're doing things that you that are holding you back. Why am I doing this? Why am I afraid to move forward to live my best life? And it's not about beating yourself up about it, but it's about knowing what inside of you, where is that little girl, that little boy, that little they inside of you that is afraid, and to be gentle and to be compassionate, because that fear in you is not wrong. It's not bad. It just wants to be heard. And the more that you're kind and gentle with yourself, the easier it is to dissipate that kind of feeling too. You are so welcome, Kathy. I am happy to be here. I would love to go back home. Okay. So Zelda, where is home for you? It sounds like you. So I don't know, Zelda, if South Africa is home or if that is where you currently live and want to move someplace else. But I would encourage you to write a list of everything and go to your why. Why is it important for you to go back home? What is it going to give you that you don't have currently? And the more you can find gratitude from where you are, I think a lot of people think that if you're grateful for where you're at right now, you're saying that you don't need more. But gratitude, what you appreciate appreciates. The more you're grateful for things, the more you're going to see things to be grateful for. So take that into your daily practices. Gratitude is a big one for me, is to, even when I get frustrated, and I promise you I do, it's when I start feeling that frustration, that's when I go into gratitude. When I start my coaching calls with clients, so one of the first things, if it's not the very first thing, is I ask for 3 things that they're celebrating or 3 things that they're grateful for since we last met. When we're talking about somebody that we're very frustrated with, I ask for 3 things that they appreciate about that person, because it lessens the energy of that frustration. It lessens the energy of that anger. And sometimes, I have a loud truck going by right now. Sometimes when we're frustrated with somebody like that and we can't come up with 3 things, then we can think about the fact that the majority of our relationships aren't as difficult as this one. So we can still find gratitude that this person is showing us the relationships we may not want to experience. Again, majority of the time. I don't know of anybody who is 100% loving, 100% positive, 100% kind, compassionate, or peaceful. I do know people, and I work on it for myself, who are that the majority of the time. 51% is the majority. You can strive to be at 80, 90%, 70%. 51% is the majority. If you're at 20, I don't know that very many people who are at 20 would probably come to my talk. But if you are at 20, you're not wrong or bad. If you're at 30, you're not wrong or bad. 40, not wrong or bad. It's where you're at, where you want to go, and what steps you're willing to take to get to feel a little bit better. Step by step is where it's at. So let me see. Okay, I don't see any more questions, so I'm going to love and leave you for today. Got it in 30 minutes. So I hope you are all well. And I totally forgot we're here an hour later than normal too. So take care of yourselves. I will be back on Tuesday. Actually, I might stop in tomorrow at some point. I don't know for sure yet. I have a big event on Saturday night for a nonprofit here in Chicago that does amazing work. And then I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week. Take a step right today to do something that is going to make you feel good about yourself, make you feel good about where you live, make you feel good about the world that you're currently living in and the world that you want to live in. And maybe we'll look at it. I know we're an hour different, so I don't have all of my regulars on today, but maybe we can look at if you want to, that you're going to put in comments what step you're working on this week, and we'll talk about it on Tuesday, and then we'll check in on Thursday to see how you are doing with that step. So I think I'm going to consider adding that to the chat as well. So take care of yourselves. Be kind to yourselves. Be gentle with yourselves. The more you're kind and loving to yourself, the easier it is to be loving and kind to others as well. So take care, and remember, you matter. You matter to me. You matter to the world. And most importantly, you matter to you. We'll talk soon. So long for now.